Hello, hello, hello. I hope I'm live. It says that I'm live. And there I am. I'm live. Thank you very much. I know I had a lot of people recently and they were all talking about this new Facebook. Well, today, as I was signing on, it decided to show its face right now. So, so that was pretty good. I managed to get through it with only 5 minutes in, so that was pretty good. And just it's really funny how important our space is to us, right? And no matter how big of our space, it has to be cleansed and reimagined and re-enlivened, right? And basically, I've just finally set up this place as my office, I've got a desk, I have two monitors, I have them set up in a place where I don't have to move them. More importantly, I'm actually eating dinner at my dining room. I know a lot of us have made concessions through this time, and I didn't have another bedroom to go to, so I had to do it here. But what a difference it makes just actually having a separate space to go to. So for anybody that's coming into this time right now, this is really a nesting period, right? It's also been very intense. So it's really time, if you're feeling an urge to go through a closet or to get rid of something that's just been hanging around, or you have that cupboard that just drives you crazy, now's the time. If you're getting that urge, do it. So that's what I would like to share with you about that. So, but of course, I'm still going to have to figure out how I do the Instagram Live, although this seems to work much better. I don't have to muck around with any cameras and everything seems to work fine. So I'm very pleased to tell you that this week is, again, these Keepers of the Light Oracle cards. I just love them. My personal readings on these cards have been nothing short of astounding and perfect. Sometimes it's not like we outgrow cards, but we have different things that are calling to us and different aspects of our soul, so to speak, that are calling to us that we need to be coming from. And the thing is, with Keepers of the Light, it has all different kinds of gods and goddesses, and that's really important to me because it's not, I believe in a universal connection. I believe that we're all connected, and I know that because I know that there's times where I'm standing next to people and I know what they're feeling, even if they're not admitting that they're feeling it. So I physically know. I had somebody once ask me, how do you get faith? And it's like, you just have to allow yourself, in your mind, you need to be able to believe that it's possible, right? And the one thing is, in this world, in the law of attraction, in, all this stuff, it's not so much the words you're saying. The words you say matter. It's more about feeling it and knowing it. So, I just did a little speech last week, or a presentation for this women's group, and it was about how I came to terms with my intuition, and that the first time I had one of those dreams, I called it, and that was the kind of dreams that I get when I need to reach out to people and I need to connect with them and help them work through something that usually they're not surprised that, if I call and say, hey, I had a dream, and then they go, oh, okay. And then I had others, it's like, well, why don't you dream about me? Well, because maybe you don't need my help, right? Because I believe that we're this big chess game, the universe, right? And I think there's different gods and goddesses that help align us with certain things. And that's the wondrous part of it, is like, you believe in Jesus. Hi, Enzo. You believe in Jesus and Christianity. That's fabulous. And tonight we've got Mother Mary in all her blessed perfectness, right? Because she's really an ascended master, right? So while she's a main character in one story, so to speak, her presence as an enlightened being matters for all of us, right? Because you don't have one person living for 5,000 years. You have different people or different aspects that come throughout our history that bring different energies. And while this may not be a popular opinion, especially with what's been going on down south, even Hitler had a role, because people had to make a choice, and our choices, it's all about free will, right? And so it's more important right now, with energetically what's going on right now, that you believe, and getting back to this faith thing, that if you either believe that we're actually all connected and you act as if, and that's really what faith is, right? So whether we pray, whether we pull tarot cards, whether we pull angel cards, whether we write it in a gratitude journal, all of that is the same. All of that is taking a moment in time. And if words work for you, journaling helps in the morning. But it's actually more important that we embody what we believe. And we will be given these opportunities to embody. And part of that through the tarot is when we get aces, for instance, because aces are the beginning of something. Aces are the beginning of a cycle, which means we have the opportunity to, if it's an air sign, we get the opportunity to go where our thoughts are. And this is the great thing. Nobody's in your head but you. So it's up to you to understand the power of your thoughts and the power of your beliefs, and call yourself on stuff that doesn't seem real. So that's my little 2 cents right now. And this is because this week, thankfully, this has been a really crazy week energetically, because the Sag eclipse is really about burning everything down. So again, that's why I was talking about, if you have a closet that's calling to you, you may have found that over the last week you've been purging, or you've just like, oh, I don't need that anymore. Or oh, you'll find this nudge, and that's really faith. That's connectedness, right? Where it's like you honor what's keeping your soul alive. Okay. So Mother Mary is love and peace, and her tagline, let go of the need to be right. Very interesting. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. And I believe last week there was something there about father healing. So it's really quite interesting that we were talking about the doing last week and the difference between doing and being, right? And that's the whole, the divine feminine, right? Which is, and that again comes back to this faith, that being is just, you know what? I feel like I need to take a bath right now, and then be fully present in that bath. I think I need to go for a walk right now, and be fully present in that walk, so that whatever you're doing gets the full attention of your being. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So Mary, the mother of Jesus, is one of the best loved saints, masters, and guides of the world. Although she has a huge part to play in the Catholic faith, she can bring faith, peace, and love to anyone who calls on her. She is the saint of the people. She works directly with the angels of peace to bring healing to the world, particularly where there is conflict. And dedicated to supporting children and mothers, she is a spiritual embodiment of unconditional love and acceptance. And while it's not here, even like Isis is the Egyptian goddess Isis is the predecessor of Mother Mary, right? So it's still that energy of that it's an important role to be that mother, which is that nurturer, right? So we're pulled in so many different ways these days that, we adapt to what we need to do to keep the family, whether it's your nuclear family or whether it's the earth family, together and moving forward, right? So the extended message, it's time to let go of conflict or the need to be right. The more you fight for the point you want to prove, the unhappier you will be. Pointing out the mistakes and mishaps of others just blocks the road to love in your own life. Mary, the Divine Mother of acceptance, is with you now, encouraging you to forgive. Forgiveness is not about letting anyone get away with their bad choices, but about choosing to create your own happiness. Mother Mary also brings healing to you and your mother. If you miss her, are out of contact with her, or have an old trauma that needs healing now, that Mary's miraculous light is here to now wash away the darkness. Oh, isn't that beautiful? I think that's gorgeous. And the one thing I love about this is that we have had a lot of really intense major arcana coming to terms with stuff and really big choices and big decisions. And I think that with this energy this last week, with this burning down, or even the creating of this space, right? It moves things around. Energy can now move around. So then it's like, I brought out something. This is something that's really funny, but we don't necessarily, when we pick something to be in our home, when we pick something to be on our walls, when we have plants in certain places, when we have, all this stuff, there's feng shui, right? And feng shui, one of the things that I know was different is that right now, this is the furthest corner. I can see the door. I can see both doors. For feng shui, one of the big things is whether our back is protected. So before, I would be working at my dining room table where my door was directly behind me. So I never really saw, I can't make sure that my area is clear and clean. And now in this place, I'm in the furthest corner. And if I was in if I was in a boardroom, this is what would be called the power corner. So that's just a little feng shui tip that you get into when you go into a boardroom. You want to be the furthest away from the door, because then you can actually see everything. But the more important thing that this does is this allows us to breathe. This allows us to actually feel connected and safe, right? Because and there's a lot of this goes back thousands of years when we were created. So the great part about this week's readings is that we are starting afresh. We are starting anew. And with Mother Mary, again, because we've also just come through, and we're still in a divisive time where people, vaccine, not vaccine, mask, not mask. And it's really exhausting. And you can't be just yelling at somebody what you want them to think and how you want them to feel, because that doesn't help. And I've really come to this realization over the last couple of weeks, because there was just some people that I just had to unfollow, and actually in one case just unfriend, because of a conscious choice to say, I don't have anything against this person. I just don't want to see that stuff every day. And I'm still working on my social media addiction, because that's my thing. But again, the one thing that's a constant is change. The one thing that we do is move through things. And so the great part about the last couple of weeks coming up to today is all about mother healing is possible at this time. So this is the feminine aspect of who we are, which is learning to be. So we cannot protect everybody in the world. People, one of the greatest things that we can do, one of the greatest challenges, is giving other people the responsibility for their own lives and doing our best not to judge them for it, right? But that's our work. So I think we've all had a lot of opportunity over the last little while of saying, okay, how do I deal with people that disagree with me? And so forgiveness is huge. So now we get into this week's reading, which is, I love it, I know, and I've just been yammering on, but such is life. This is gorgeous. So card number 1 is Ace of Earth. Ace of Earth. I love it. Beautiful. Like this gorgeous fairy. And again, the Ace of Earth means this is the beginning of manifestation, right? So this is the beginning of creating, of bringing stuff into this realm, bringing this onto this plane. So while the last while, I know specifically for me, I've been pondering a lot, and there's been a lot going on in my head, and a lot of stuff has come out in writing, and journaling's really important right now, getting it all out. So Ace of Earth, this is about now taking where you've been and you're going to put it into something. So this is the inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. And the fabulous part about the Ace of Earth is this isn't a time where you want to be screaming it from the hilltops, but this is a time where you want to be You want to be setting your intention for whatever it is that you're creating. So significant abundance flows to you now. You may get a promotion, salary increase, or unexpected money. If you're starting a new business, the venture will likely succeed. The foundation for prosperity has been well laid. It is also a good time to make an investment. Consider any opportunities carefully. You may receive some sort of important legal documents, contracts, or correspondence. So this is receipt of a gift, improving health, earning a degree, significant purchases, excellent luck. An example for this, if I pulled, if I did card 3 or card 1, would be like I just did some cryptocurrency stuff, and if you want to know anything about that, get in touch with me. But basically, I just made $5 in a day on something, and by the end of it, I'm going to make $100 at the end of the month. And really, it's just doing money that would be sitting in a savings account, and it's again, so it's really quite interesting but it's also making sure that whatever you're doing, whatever you're investing in, whatever you're creating, you've already done the legwork, and you have been doing the legwork just because of the readings that we've been doing over especially the last month or so, has been all about huge life choices. Who is it that we want to be? How is it that we want to show up in the world? So now this Ace of Earth is, again, we're just coming into the holiday season, so maybe it's a bonus from your work. I don't know what it is. But here's the other thing too, because it's interesting. I had somebody, Aisha, who I do on Sundays, we do Just Talking, and she does her readings on Monday nights. And I had 3 jumpers, and one of them was the 5 of Earth. And the 5 of Earth is all about the fact that abundance doesn't just come in one form. It's not just money, right? That we have, like yesterday, my big events were I'm so thankful. The reason I got an SUV is because when my older mother, I was taking her to appointments, she had to get into my car, which is going down. Well, this woman yesterday was able to walk into my car sideways, and having just had hip replacements, that gave me the most joy, because as I said to her, that's the whole reason I bought this car. So that's an abundance that I have, that I was waiting for a decision to be made, and that hadn't been made yet. So that was how I chose to use my time. Well, that's an abundance of time. That was a resource that I had, that I was able to contribute to my community in a way that I was able to do. So we need to look at our abundance as not just money in the bank. We need to look at it as our resources, the connections that we have. Can you get people to connect from A to B? Can you, and that's really what even the Ace of Earth is all about, right? Is really taking stock, because this is whatever you're building, whatever you're creating, whatever you're receiving. It could be it could just be support from your boss, or it could be a new position. It could be a new opportunity for you to build something on this planet. So we can't just look at it as just money, right? Like sometimes you need to take a cut in pay to be able to investigate whether or not another role is best suited for you, right? So just keep that in mind, that resources, abundance is not always about cash. So card number 2 is beautiful. And this is probably the deepest, which is the 6 of water. 6 of water. Now, again, this is an emotional card. Anything that's water is emotional. And I think that we actually had this one last week. If not, it was 2 weeks ago for sure. Memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. And I think this is really if you called for card 2 today, this is one of the few ones that are all about remnants of what's been going on in this whole Sag fire eclipse that we've just gone through as of Monday. Is a lot of times, and you hear it, oh, it was so much easier back then. It's like nothing's ever easy in life. We have some times where things flow, and maybe everybody in our life is safe, but life is not easy. It's not supposed to be easy, right? It takes courage to love people. It takes courage to talk about our issues so that we can actually truly connect. It takes courage to sit in that faith. This is where we all start. Sit in that faith to truly know that there's going to be a better tomorrow, that things have always gotten better. They always go, when you go down, you always come up. And if you haven't been able to observe that in your life, act as if. So even if and this is where we get back to everything that I was talking about faith at the beginning of this, right? Is that if you do not believe that in your life, you need to look for what's called in the trauma world, disconfirming situations. So it's like, oh, everything always goes crazy for me, or nothing ever works out. You need to be able to actually look at your life and go, well, no, actually that worked out. No, that worked out for me. And you got to be honest with yourself, and you have to commit, because the wonderful thing about when we go through change, and especially now, because this 6 of water is really the only connection where we're actually going to, not tonight though, thank you. You can send me a message, okay? Yes, you can DM me. So, but this is all, the 6 of water is about being, and it's not about being caught up. It's the fact that the one thing, especially we're coming up to the holiday season, and it's really hard for those of us who have lost people, animals, anybody that mattered. And this is one of those, with all the Hallmark movies and everything about goodwill. This is where, if possible, you remember that we are all part of this circle of life, right? We're all part of this. We are all part of this movement towards, we are all part of a community. So at this point, what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to look back in your life, embracing what you had, in order to maybe help you be more, again, I talked earlier about gratitude. You can write a gratitude journal and all that stuff, but it's really a lot more profound when you can sit there and go, oh, and feel your heart get full, right? I hope that makes sense, right? So that's sort of what the 6 is, right? Is you want to be able to have it so that you're not caught up in the past, that you can actually move through that to the point where it's like, oh, I miss you, Mom. I miss you, Dad. I miss you, fur baby, whoever it is. And you can acknowledge that, but don't get into the point where you're stuck back there, right? Where it's like, oh, I can't live without that person. It's like, no, you actually can, because you're living with them anyway. They're all with you. You have to act as if. So I hope that makes sense. This is just such a gentle reading. This is something that I've needed. I've had a tough couple of days. So our last card number 3, and this is the one that I picked today, is the Ace of Water. And this is beautiful because the Ace of Water, falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, a new home. So let's point out the fact that, and what else does it say here? A wonderful new person is coming into your life. This could involve a budding romantic relationship or renewed romance with your current relationship. Positive emotions such as joy, pleasure, and happiness are likely. You may find yourself falling in love. Your psychic abilities, especially clairsentience, which is intuitive feelings. Sentience is the feelings. Like clairauditory is that you hear things. Anyways. Take flight at this time. Spiritual growth accompanies the rich emotional experiences you're having right now. True friendship, soulmates, compassion, and kindness, a new home. So again, I was just talking to you about actually creating this new workspace for me, and the difference, the energy that it clears up within me, because now I have a place where I can come and work. And while it'll take more than a couple of days, like I've only had this set up literally a couple of days, within a week, I'll be able to get it so that once I sit here, I'll be able to go into work mode. And when I sit at my dining room table, I can do other stuff and eat. Do you know what I mean? I can eat my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, so we can, we can have the space to appreciate our food and appreciate the different aspects of our life, right? So with ace, so we've got 2 aces this week, 2 aces, and both of them are about, so this is the thing, when you get into the fire and the air suits, they're about really almost not connecting with that aspect of who we are. Whereas the water and the earth are all about building. So by the time you get to the 10 of water, the time you get to the 10 of earth, you're actually going up where you're able to appreciate almost a vista. It's almost like going up the mountain. So with the ace of water, it's, I know this guy, he has different cards. Ace of water is about an emotional relationship. It's about an emotional connection. But this can be falling in love with yourself. This can be having that faith that I spoke of at the beginning, because all of this has Mother Mary hanging over, right? This is the overarching card, which is all about forgiveness, which is all about choosing, do I choose to be happy, or do I want to be happy, or do I want to be right? And I wouldn't even use the word happy. I would use the word more like content, or, something that's more, because happiness is really, it's really vague, right? That's the whole butterfly thing. How do you get a butterfly to land on you? Well, you just sit and it happens. You don't chase the butterfly. The butterfly's never gonna, you're actually compelling it to move away because you're chasing it, right? So this is like the law of attraction. Act as if you are happy. Well, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Can you write down in words what it is that you, how is it that you feel when you're happy or joyful, right? Just sharing a little bit, like today I really connected with my guardian angels, and one of them, beautiful Frank, and he's like a 5 or 6 year old boy, just a little guy. And he's this joyful, playful side of myself, or not of myself, because he's my guide. He's the one that will remind me and help me keep connected to that childlike wonder and that childlike joy in our life. So with Mother Mary overarching all of this, this is all about really, we've come a long way this year. We're coming to the end. Hopefully you've seen growth from January to now. By the way, if anybody's interested in doing a solstice, I'm doing a mini solstice-like thing next week on Sunday, this Sunday on Just Talking, and that's on my Gwenda Lambert Life Starts Now page. And I'll be doing that with Aisha, who's my Just Talking co-host. And if you want to be involved with that, drop me a link and we can get you in on the Zoom call. We don't necessarily have to show you if that's not what you want to do. But it would be, it's going to be a really neat situation, because this is, I just posted today that I say happy holidays because this weekend, like the solstice for me, that's my New Year's and Christmas and whatever else. That's my high holiday. So, happy Rosh Hashanah or happy Hanukkah to, all those celebrating. But yeah. That's why happy holidays. So I've just been yammering on today. It's 28 minutes. So thank you for listening if you're still here from the beginning. And I hope that you got out of this. Again, so it's a lovely, softer reading this week with Mother Mary encouraging us for love, peace, and forgiveness. Card number 1, Ace of Earth, which is the beginning of abundance and manifestation on the physical plane, which is fabulous. Card number 2, 6 of Water, which is all about making sure that our vision of the past is something that's rooted in the present, right? And not that not that we're living back in the past, but that we honor the past, that we honor our past. We don't stay stuck in it. And card number 3 is Ace of Water, which is a beautiful new emotional outpouring. And I just say that because it could be maybe with your spouse now you're having a renewed emotional connection with yourself. You could be falling in love with yourself, but it's also the beginning of a creative thing as well. is because Ace of Water is all about our emotional expression. But definitely this one, I love this part because it's spiritual growth, and that really is what it's all about. We're here to shine our lights, all of us, right? We all have to shine our lights and really get clear on the fact, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And what true compassion looks like for yourself and for those around you that may not think exactly the same way you do. I love you all. So again, I hope to see you next Sunday. Again, Gwenda Lambert Life starts now for a little winter solstice. And we will see you next week for Tarot Tuesday. Have a great night. Love you.